Greetings! My name is Cassandra Shaw, and I will be covering vegetarian awareness for No Struggle, No Success reentry program. We're going to talk about what it means to be a vegetarian. We're also going to talk about 4 main types of the vegetarian diet. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of a vegetarian diet, and we're also going to talk about some different types of foods that you can eat to help maintain a balanced diet if you decided to become a vegetarian. So, what does it mean being vegetarian? Vegetarianism is the practice of not eating meat, poultry, or fish, especially for moral reasons like being ethical to animals and being environmentally friendly, also for religious reasons, for a person's religious beliefs, or for health reasons, because eating meat might not be in the best interest of their health any longer or at this time. When people think about a vegetarian diet, they typically think about a diet that doesn't include meat. But vegetarian diets vary in what foods they include and exclude. Lacto-vegetarians, for instance, exclude meat, fish, poultry, and eggs, as well as foods that contain them. But they include dairy products such as milk, cheese, yogurt, and butter. Ovo-vegetarian diets exclude meat, poultry, seafood, fish, and dairy products, but allow eggs. Lacto-ovo-vegetarian is a combination of the first two, lacto-vegetarian and ovo-vegetarian, where it excludes meat, fish, and poultry, as well as seafood, but allows dairy products and eggs. And then there's vegan diets that exclude meat, poultry, fish, seafood, eggs, and dairy products, and foods that contain these products. And for some vegans, also any byproducts of that product, which means some vegans don't wear leather, some vegans don't eat honey that's made by bees. And then those are the top 4 vegetarian diets that don't include any meat at all. And then there is a pescatarian diet that doesn't include meat, poultry, dairy, or eggs, but it allows fish. And then there is a flexitarian diet, which is a semi-vegetarian diet. And that is primarily a plant-based diet, but it includes meat, dairy, eggs, poultry, and fish on occasion or in small quantities. If you are thinking about or considering adopting a vegetarian diet, there are some pros and cons to consider. Here are some of the pros and cons for a vegetarian diet. One of the benefits of the pros are that it reduces disease risk. It reduces type 2 diabetes. It does that by helping to reduce weight or decreasing weight management. Also, it lowers high cholesterol by lowering saturated fat, as well as lowers hypertension and high blood pressure from the reduction of meat products. It could also help improve and increase longevity, as well as provide a sense of belonging as the vegetarian community is growing. It can lessen your carbon footprint. Also, it's environmentally friendly and ethical for animals. A vegetarian diet also offers complete nutrition when a person has the most adequate calorie intake. That's the most important, because with vegetarianism, you have to eat more to make sure that you get all of the calories and nutrients that you need to have a complete diet with overall complete nutrition. Some of the cons of a vegetarian diet are possible nutrient deficiencies. Some of the nutrients that are commonly deficient in vegetarians are B12, which you can get from fortified plant-based milk products like soy milk, from cereal, or you can get it from tofu or spirulina. Also, zinc is one, and you can get zinc from garlic, goji berries, and cherries. Also, vitamin D. Vitamin D you can get from milk products, as well as sunlight. And iodine, which you can get from table salt, seaweed, and prunes. And then there's omega 3s, which you can get from avocados, flax seeds, chia seeds, sesame seeds, hemp seeds. Another nutrient is protein. People always ask, how are you going to get your protein if you don't eat meat? And it's not that meat is the only way to get protein. It's that meat is a complete protein. But there are also plant-based complete proteins like quinoa. And a complete protein has all 8 amino acids that your body needs and your body doesn't make on its own. And other vegan options and vegetarian options are incomplete proteins. But incomplete proteins in combination can give you all 8 of the amino acids. So it's important to have a balanced vegetarian diet daily with beans and lentils, nuts and seeds and grains to get all 8 of the amino acids needed for complete protein daily. There may be fewer food choices with the exclusion of meat, especially when you eat out. A lot of times the meat is the main focal point and there's sides, and so sometimes that can be boring. And it's also less convenient because a lot of times it's easier to get meat quickly or with fast food and eating out, or either when you go to functions like business meetings or family functions or parties. Sometimes they don't always have a vegetarian option, so it just gives you less things to choose from, and sometimes it's just salad or just vegetables on the side, which can be a con. And sometimes foods are not always healthy. A lot of times with vegetarian options, they are processed, and processed foods aren't always healthy. Some products can be really high in sodium. They also could have a lot of extra ingredients that may cause allergies, that may be exposure to some chemicals. It's really important that you really do your research and read all of the ingredients in any processed foods that you purchase, because sometimes convenience is not always the healthiest thing for you. So, what does a vegetarian diet look like? This is based on a 2,000 calorie diet for someone who is vegetarian. They would have 2.5 cups of vegetables per day, 2 cups of fruit per day. They would have 6.5 ounces of grains per day, grains like oatmeal, wild rice, quinoa, whole wheat, and whole multigrain breads. They would also have 3 cups of dairy per day, and this could be milk for vegetarians or cheese for vegetarians, but for vegans it could be plant-based options, that's or calcium and vitamin D, things like soy milk or almond milk or oat milk, or green leafy vegetables like kale and spinach. 3.5 ounces of protein like chickpeas or lentils, nuts and seeds. And then there's oils, 27 grams of oils like avocado oil, olive oil, sesame oil, and vegetable oil. Now, these calorie intakes is based off the 2015 to 2020 dietary recommendations for Americans. And though this is an overall idea of what a vegetarian diet would be like, vegetarian diets would need to be individualized to make sure that you're getting the appropriate amount of fiber, protein, and calcium for you, depending on your goals, whether weight loss or weight maintenance, or just to make sure that you are overall healthy and getting all the nutrients that you need for you. 3 nutrients that are key to a successful diet, any diet, including a vegetarian diet, are protein, fiber, and calcium. And finally, all this talk about protein. So here are some vegetarian protein sources: beans, all types of beans, hummus, cottage cheese, potatoes, eggs, tempeh, tofu, chicken broth, and chickpeas are a few forms of protein, as well as some other forms that we discussed, like complete proteins like quinoa. Additional plant sources include soy products, meat substitutions. An example would be like Beyond Meat, nuts, seeds, and whole grains can provide protein. Vegetarian sources of fiber are broccoli, corn, seeds, almonds, dark chocolate, strawberries, oatmeal, apples, and avocados. Green leafy vegetables like kale, spinach, broccoli, and bok choy, also really good sources of fiber as well. Some vegetarian calcium sources are milk, of course, cheese, but also soy milk and yogurt, spinach, kiwi, papaya, dates. Dates are really high in calcium as well as potassium and magnesium, and sesame seeds are also a great choice for a calcium source. One of the great things about a vegetarian diet is that a lot of fruits and vegetables can fulfill multiple nutrient sources. Like they can be calcium as well as protein as well as fiber. If this seems like a diet that you may be interested in, I encourage you to do some research. If you're not sure if you're interested, I would like you to take some time and think about what your favorite vegetarian meal might be. I mean, for some people, it's vegetable lasagna or mac and cheese. And once you find out whatever your favorite vegetarian meal is, pair up with 5 people this week and ask them what their favorite vegetarian meal. Talk to them about what you learned about the different options for vegetarian diets. And also, by the end of the week, you will have 6 different vegetarian meals if you decide to start a vegetarian meal plan, or if you just want to have a meatless day, like a meatless Monday, or a meatless meal, like you may go meatless for lunch. Whatever you want to try to try a vegetarian diet out, if that's your choice. Again, my name is Cassandra Shaw. I appreciate this time and space with you. I hope that you learned something new. If you have any additional questions regarding vegetarianism or starting a vegetarian diet, my email information is here. And remember that adult and youth, as well as individual and group sessions, are available through No Struggle, No Success Reentry program for all participants. Our health education sessions are a primary service offered to educate people about behaviors that promote wellness. Positive health behaviors and health outcomes are an essential part of reacclimating mentally, physically, emotionally, and socially. Take gentle care and be well.